Hi, welcome to Compassionate Cravings. I'm Carol Jeha, and I'm going to show you a modern twist to a variety of classic dishes. Hi, welcome back. Today I'm going to show you how I make my chocolate pie. This chocolate pie is probably my most requested dish, at least in my family. I've talked in previous videos how I have a very large family. We get together all the time, and I think this is like the number one thing I get texted about. Aunt Carol, are you bringing your chocolate pie? So I decided today I would show you how I make my chocolate pie that everybody requests. Here I have all my ingredients. This pie I will make vegan. You don't have to make it vegan. I never made it vegan before until I became vegan. So I use oat milk as the base milk. The Jell-O pudding is vegan because you add milk to it, so there's nothing in it that's dairy. I love Guittard chocolate. It's probably my favorite chocolate to use. So I use these little discs and I will melt this chocolate. In the past I used to make the chocolate cookie crust, but now I just buy the cookie crust. Saves me so much more time and it's just as good. It's really good. Normally, probably one of my secrets to this chocolate pie is that I use chocolate milk. Along with melting chocolate into it, I use chocolate milk for the milk part of it. I used to be able to get Oatly chocolate milk, but I haven't been able to find it lately. So I'm down to just making chocolate milk first with chocolate syrup and the milk, and then using it from there. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and mix the milk and the chocolate. I'll show you kind of how I do that, and then we'll move over to the stove from there. So let's move these aside. So I'm going to start with, this is a 5-ounce box of Jell-O pudding. Fills 1 pie shell. And it says when you make a pie to use 3 cups of milk. I find that you get a little bit denser pudding if you use a little bit less milk. So I'll do like about 2.5 cups of milk. So I'm going to measure this at 2.5 cups. And then I'm going to put in my chocolate syrup. Maybe I'll go a little bit more. And then I'll put in the chocolate syrup to make this really good chocolate milk. And I like this Santa Cruz, but you can use Hershey's, whatever brand chocolate syrup you like. You just want the chocolate milk to be really dark and rich. So let's see if I put enough in here. And this, everything's cold, so it does take a while for it all to kind of blend together. So I'm going to just keep stirring and adding the chocolate till I get it nice and dark. When you use Hershey's chocolate syrup, it's a little looser, so it's a little easier to work with. This one is kind of thick. But we'll make it work because it's a really good chocolate syrup. So in my glass bowl, I have, for melting chocolate here, I have 4 ounces of chocolate per pie. And I will just put that in the microwave and melt it down. Probably start like a minute and then give it a stir and then just go for like 30 seconds, give it a stir because you don't want to burn the chocolate. You just need it to get melted. And so the more you stir the warm chocolate, it'll eventually melt. So after I do this, I'm going to go and do the chocolate. Now I will go and, since my chocolate milk is about ready to go, I'm going to go melt the chocolate, and then I will be back. We'll go to the stove and get the pudding started. Okay, we're now back at the stove. I have my prepared chocolate milk, since I wasn't able to find chocolate milk, the Oatly chocolate milk, which I really like. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in the pan. This was 2.5 cups of chocolate milk. And then I have my chocolate pudding mix. I'm going to add that. So puddings, you have to stir constantly. So you're going to be here for a few minutes while this heats up, and you want to just constantly just swish back and forth, stirring gently. Kind of break down some of the big pieces of the pudding to get all the lumps out. And I'm just going to keep stirring until this comes to a boil. So at this point you can see we're starting to get a little bit thicker, and I can feel the drag on the bottom of the pot as I swipe the spoon across. You don't want the temperature to be too high because you'll burn the bottom. We don't want burnt pudding. So you have to keep it at medium and just be patient. Once it starts to thicken, it goes really fast from there. And this takes about 15 minutes. Starting to get it to the right consistency. So just keep stirring. So it needs to come to a really good bubbly boil for about 15 seconds or so, and then we'll turn it off. Just be careful it doesn't get too bubbly and it comes up and it can bite you, burn you, so be careful. Into the pot. And we're going to let it just sit here a second for just a few minutes. I'm going to take my melted chocolate that I stuck in the microwave. This was 4 ounces of the Guittard chocolate, semi-sweet chocolate, and I'm going to melted it. So you put it in the microwave for about a minute, stir it around, and then you put it in for like 30 seconds, stir it around, and that could be enough to just keep stirring and stirring and stirring until it melts. The more you put it in the microwave to try to melt it like faster, it's just going to scorch it and burn it. So the first minute and then 30 seconds, and then just keep stirring, and it'll eventually just all melt. So I'm going to go ahead and add this into my hot pudding. And then we're just going to stir this yummy melted chocolate into our pot, into our pudding. Until it's well combined. I'm going to let it rest for about 2 minutes here while I go prep the pie crust. So we'll go from here and we'll move over to the counter and we'll prep the pie crust. Okay, so we've made our chocolate pudding. Put our chocolate in it. I'm going to give it one more stir. Oh, looks so luscious. And then I'm going to remove the liner for the pie crust. This is the Oreo cookie crust. And then we're just going to take this and put it right in to the pie crust. Make sure you get all this goodness. You will be a hit if you show up at a party with this pie in hand. And then we're going to pop it in the refrigerator. It needs to sit in the refrigerator about 6 hours to firm up, and then we will make the cream. When it's done, we'll make the cream to go on top. So while our chocolate pie is chilling, which takes about 6 to 8 hours, so you can either do it the night before, like I said, or really early in the morning if you're going to take it later in the day. So I'm going to do coconut whipped cream to go on top. And it could be, you could either spread it all over the top or you can just dab it on it as you make the slices, which is kind of what I've been doing lately. So I have a coconut cream. Try to get coconut cream. If you get it in the can, put it in you got to put this in the refrigerator anyway. You want it to be as cold as possible. When you get it in the can, you can scoop out the solid and just discard the liquid or save it for something else. But I've been noticing that my coconut cream is not whipping up like it used to. I don't know if it's because coconut cream is in such a high demand now that the production is not quite the quality it used to be. I'm not sure, but I did a little bit of searching online to see if others were having the same issue I was having, and a lot of people were having the same issue. I've had luck with this particular one. I've done a couple of the different canned versions of coconut cream. I've had luck with this one, so hopefully today it whips up for us. I will add, to the coconut cream, I'm going to add a quarter cup of confectioner's or powdered sugar and a teaspoon of vanilla. And then we're going to give it a nice beating. I use a little bit larger bowl, kind of helps with the splashing and doesn't get all over you. You could do this in your hand with your hand mixer. If you've got an immersion kind of blender that has a whip at the end, you can use that too. If you have a KitchenAid stand mixer, definitely use that also. I could have done that, but I figured pretty much everybody has a hand mixer, so this would be a good way for me to show you. And it will splash, so I'm going to kind of put my hands here. Oh. I'm going to give it just a little view. So you can see how nice and stiff and firm this one got. I'm very pleased that this worked this time. Really happy with it. I'm going to kind of just whisk out the beaters here. And then we will frost the pie. Okay, so the coconut cream turned out great. As you can see, it's really firm, nice and stiff, like whipped cream would be. So this, my tried and true, this worked really well. It's always sold out at my supermarket, but hopefully you guys can get it near yours. I really like this brand, this Cara coconut cream in the carton. Works great. Okay, so now I'm going to just get these out of here. Just get some of the excess off. Don't want to waste this luscious cream. So since this whipped up so nice and thick, I think I'm going to go ahead and just put it all over the top of our chocolate pie. Look at that baby. So dark and luscious. You're going to love this. Okay. And there's a little left. If somebody wants to put it in their coffee when they're having dessert, or put a little extra. Let's just push this around, cover the top. Make it nice and doesn't need to be too fancy. You can do it however you like. If you want to put it in a piping bag with a pretty tip, you could do that too. Making it kind of even here, back and forth, making like little ridges, kind of pretty. All right, there we go. Let's cut it and serve it, and I'll show you what it looks like. Do that Oreo cookie crust. Go half. First piece is always the hardest to get out, but hopefully it turns out okay. Oh, look at that. That's beautiful. Okay, now we can dress this up, if you would like, with a little bit of, took a chocolate bar here and just going to grate it a little bit on the top. Perfect. You can do the whole pie too, if you'd like. When you go to take it, adds a little decoration to the top. Kind of pretty. Like so. And voila. All right. There we go. Carol's famous chocolate cream pie. This is a hit. Take it to your next party or event. Make it for your family. Everybody's going to love it. It's rich. It's decadent. It's really, really good. See you next time. I really enjoyed making this dish for you today. If you enjoyed watching, please like and subscribe below. Thanks, and I'll see you next time.